welcome back to another edition of Two Mics All Sports with Joe Broll and Zach Chabey. So today we're gonna talk about last night's game. We're gonna do a live stream, but with the delay and it ended up so late, decided to do it now. So let's get right into it. So obviously, the stadium was pumped. Everyone was pumped to watch the game. Dallas starts off with the ball. We kick off, and Ben Van Zoomer gets hurt. But let's talk about beginning. What were your thoughts on the first, literally 5 seconds of the game?
Not even before the first official snap at the kickoff, a spinning competition, Zach, between Dak Prescott and Jalen Carter happened.
Mm-hmm.
Spitting on another grown man.
Yeah, it's like
Very questionable.
exactly. It's very inexcusable. Like, obviously Dak Prescott knew exactly what he was doing. He went after our best player on defense, got him to pull the trigger, and he got punished because of it. Jalen Carter is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's getting in his own way. It's that simple. He's making mistakes that he doesn't have to make. He had no reason whatsoever to spit. Yes, you don't want to take that disrespect, but you know the referee's around. You know they're going to call it if they see you do it. And you know it's an automatically disqualification from the game. Because not only did you let yourself down, you let the team down, and you let the fans down as a whole. Because you saw it as soon as he went out, it was a incredible difference. Because the defense, they ran it right up the middle with Javonte Williams. They attacked with CeeDee Lamb, and they scored in about 3 or 4 plays. And plus, it gave them a 15 yards off the bat. So they started at like the 45-yard line. Like, you set them up. Like, he basically set them up for success with his mistake. And I understand he's trying to not take the disrespect. But there's a time and place for that, and that was not the time. That was not the retaliation he needed to do. Like, he needed to, like, if you were pissed, go hit him in the face like he did to Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That will send a message, not something petty like this. Like, this is pity. This is not even, like, something that, like, you spitting at other players is a complete disrespect. Just in general, if you spit at a person, it's a level of disrespect, and I won't tolerate it at the end of the day, because he's a great player. I love him as a player, but I don't respect what he did last night, because it's a league of players that respect each other. They might not like each other on the field, but off the field, some of these guys are brothers off the field. They hang out all the time, and it's the NFL is supposed to be a brotherhood, and something petty like that's stooping really low, especially for his level.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then outside of that, it was just really sloppy. It was a really sloppy game on both sides of the ball. Not really much on offense. Jalen Hurts did his job as a leader and basically carried this team to the win last night, but the defense was sloppy. You got fights going off on almost every kickoff and kick return. And you're in a sold-out stadium. It was $580 for a standing room ticket to come watch the banner get revealed, the Super Bowl trophy walk out. It's a big night. It's a home opener. And you guys are coming out lackadaisical, acting like you guys haven't been here before.
Exactly. It's like it's like people. I heard this word thrown out. I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's a Super Bowl hangover. Like, they seem like they walk into, like, I like how they talk about all off season. We're locked in. 2024 season, out of our minds. Everything. Like, they didn't even look happy. Like, I know they don't have to be happy, but they didn't. This team mostly stayed intact. Like, they added a few pieces, but the core players were still intact, and it just didn't feel like there was any chemistry. Like, it honestly felt like the 2023 of old. I understand it's week 1, but this was the type of the games we were used to in 2023, the way they were playing. So, but yeah, but there is one positive thing I like to take out of this game, and it's the play of QB1 Jalen Hurts. I think he played at least in the first half, he was exceptional. Like, I know he wasn't making the big passing plays, but in my opinion, he looked. This is the fastest he's looked in years. Like, his mobility, his ability to get out of the pocket, And I know they traded Micah Parsons, and he took that to he took that to his advantage. The way he was able to get out of pocket with these guys who are not really good and is not as Micah Parsons caliber. So I really liked his elusiveness. He seemed calm, cool, and collected in the pocket, even though the offensive line really wasn't playing that great. Like it was very up and down between all of them. But he stayed calm. He made the reads he was supposed to. I know it wasn't the greatest passing game, but he was that dual threat quarterback we know he can be, and he was doing it at a successful rate. So
Yeah, it was great to see him use his legs more because toward the end of the last season, after the injury against Washington, he decided to not run as much, especially come playoff time, and use more of the arm strength. So it was good to see the fact that he's trusting his legs again and running because now he's not the only running threat. He also has Saquon in the backfield to be scared of.
exactly. And so let me just get right into it then. So like obviously it's week 1. I've said this a few times. I've said this a few times to people I've talked to. Week 1 does not always have to be perfect. Week 1 you can have your mistakes, but at the end of the day, if you come out with a win, you can look to improve after that. You can go into the positive direction. So let me ask you this. What's 3 things right now in your like you see right now coming fresh off the game Friday? What are 3 things that you want to see like them adjust to or like that could be fixed for week 2 against Kansas City?
Number one, definitely the secondary because Kansas City has a better wide receiver and they're more of a passing. They're going to pass the ball against us come next Sunday at 4:25, and especially if they're seeing CD burn Quinion, burn Cooper, go across the middle with Bond and Blankenship, they're going to try to expose that area, especially since they locked down their entire receiver core last year in the Super Bowl. So I would love to see them improve and find their image because I know you're missing CJ, you're missing Slay. So you got to refine that image, and these young guys got to step up. Sidney Brown has to step up. Cooper has to step up, and you guys got to be ready to play in that secondary. Secondly, I would love to see the O-line protect a little bit better. I know was it Cam Jurgens that went out yesterday?
Dickerson with
Dickerson,
the
yeah.
back injury.
I thought it was Dickerson, yeah. But he's out, so now the next guy up. They're all NFL players. You should be able to make a block. Even if you don't you get it back on the next play. So I also saw Mailata not holding some of his blocks toward the end of the game. It could be the fact that they had that 1 hour, 15-minute delay that could have gotten them more tired toward because it's like midnight when the game ended. The game started at 8:20. So you're sitting there, especially in the cold rain for an hour. It ain't fun, but still, you played in the snow last year, and I didn't see you guys have any trouble. Third, I would love to just see more energy and not that sloppiness and not energy like they were doing in that kickoff. Like, oh, like we're gonna like I'd love to punch you in the face energy. Don't get me wrong, but that's not the way to do it. I get it's a rivalry game, so tensions are a little bit more high, but you don't want to get flagged, is what I'm trying to say. The flags were unbelievable last night. Do I agree with all of them? No, but you can't get flagged for stupid stuff, like unsportsmanlike, taunting, and that's my 3 things.
Yeah. And I like how you mentioned the last point, taunting, because I want to mention 2 reasons about that. The first reason I'm going to mention is you were already on their ass with the whole Jalen Carter thing. So you knew they were looking at you with a telescope. Every petty thing that they were going to get, they were going to call. And number 2, I mentioned this to you last night. This was the same referee crew from that Washington game in Week 16 that tossed out Gardner Johnson and made very petty calls. I'm not saying that like they have something against us, but I do find it a little bit interesting. But yeah, like it's the main 3 Georgia guys I'm very looking at. Jalen Carter not taking accountability. Jordan Davis had the opportunity to get 2 sacks last night, and he just completely whiffed on the tackles. And then Nolan Smith, I understand you made a nice play, but he missed a couple plays. And then you got to know, like I just said, they are on your ass. So you got to watch what you do because they if they see the smallest thing, they're gonna call it, and they did. He made a nice play on Miles Sanders, and he got a little bit extra with it, and they called the flag. Do I agree with it? 100% not. But the style of the way the game was going, you knew that they were gonna call that. They were calling everything that was like that, and preferably only for Dallas, but that's besides the point. But one more thing I want to mention before you say something. I like how they called that on him. They called a play on Jalen Carter, but Tyler Guyton can punch Jalen Hunt in the right side of his head and get nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't know if you saw that, but he was blocking, just knocked him in the side of the head, and nothing happened. So, I already know the referees are trash. They're terrible in every sport, but last night was a catastrophe between what the refs put out there last night, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Where some of the calls right, maybe. I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, yeah, the refs. Like, I completely side with the refs. That taunting call, I feel like, you can't celebrate? You just made a top 10 play. Last year, Cooper DeJean slammed Derrick Henry and did the exact same thing, no flag. So, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
Oh, tackle him, not celebrate. We get a touchdown, not celebrate, just hand the ball back over. No. Like, they're making the game more entertaining. And then, obviously, that punch in the face, yeah, I saw that. That should have been called. But I feel like you said, after that spit, the refs are now looking at you guys like you guys are the scumbags, like you guys are the assholes. And then, especially with the fights that were happening during the kickoffs, like I said before, you are now under a microscope. They are now going to call anything and everything against you because you guys are now the initiators. So they had to be careful, and they weren't causing them more yards and penalties than what needed to be.
Exactly. But let me ask you this now. We're going to move from the defense to the offense. One, what did you think of Kevin Patullo's first game as an offensive coordinator? And what do you think is the number one thing he needs to improve on against Kansas City next week?
I think he had a very good first showing. Coming in fresh with almost the exact same crew from the Super Bowl victory can be difficult. They had a nice rhythm. You guys lost your offensive coordinator. That's a big blow because you guys knew how everything worked. Everything was nice, smooth, got you the trophy. So it's a little bit of it's a big transition to go under a new playbook and a new style of play. So I think he really showed out in his first game, especially with utilizing more of, like, I know it's up to Jalen Hurts if he wants to run, but the scheme in general to even have him the opportunity to escape with 10 to 15 yards of space in order to run in that first half. And then I would love to see them improve more really in the wide receiver, getting more of the wide receivers active because Devontae Smith only had 3-4 catches. A.J. Brown, the big shocker, with only one catch for 8 yards last night. Good thing is they utilized Dallas Goedert a lot. So that's good. That's good to see that they're going to other options. The biggest surprise I saw was Jahan Dotson last night, getting that big time catch driving down the field. So I would just love to see a little bit more improvement. Again, it's basically it's a scheme matchup at that point. So it's not really much of what they need to improve on, just more of how they can expand on it because you got 5 big threats now after that game I saw from Dotson last night. You got Barkley in the running. Dallas Goedert is a threat, so you're going to have to double up because you can't leave A.J. or Devontae open or Dotson now after last night because now you're giving them a one-on-one chance, and that's scary. So,
yeah, I agree. I think the AJ thing is a big thing, but before I say anything, I don't want to hear fucking jack shit on the radio or anything that he's upset. We did this shit last year, and we saw how this resulted. He's fine. It's week one at the end of the day. If anyone overreacts about this game, that's complete bullshit in my opinion because it's the first week of the season. Sirianni doesn't play his starters. We've learned this at this point. There's rust that needed to be built out. The only player that looked like they were ready to show out was Jalen Hurts, and that's all you need sometimes. If your quarterback's ready to go out and show what he's got, that can win you games, and it did last night. And the offense, it's gonna get better as time goes on. We once again, that's what was the story of last year. We were 2-2. Our offense was terrible. Jalen Hurts was turning the ball over. We switched our philosophy to a run-heavy offense, and it's good. But like you said with Batulo, what I want to see him like, yes, I want to see him get in the pass, but another thing I saw last night that really frustrated me, he's got to get Saquon Barkley to the outside. He can't be running him inside because it's just not working. He can, especially when we got back from the suspension of the game, he just kept running it up the middle over and over again, and it didn't work. He's got to get him to the outside because that's where Saquon makes the magic happen. When he gets outside the numbers, he is a different running back. Like, he can create plays and create touchdowns like that. Like, and they need to get the RPO game given. I like that they were doing a lot of play action, gets the defense moving, but they got to get better development routes because whenever 85-90% of the time when they would run these play actions, Jalen would just be scrambling around the pocket and then eventually have to run. None of these, like you mentioned, also the Jahan Dotson pass. Other than that, if you look at his pass progressions, they're all in the same vicinity, like 5-10 yards, nothing. It's like that one big outlier, and then it's all in the same vicinity of yards. They got to get these 15-20 yard plays developing. Get A.J. Brown in the middle of the field, because if you have A.J. Brown running Smitty the outside, A.J. in the middle of the field can turn a 15-yard catch into like a 65-yard touchdown. He's one of the best, if not the best, run after catch receivers in the game, and he's so big, but he's also so fast. Like, he can make plays happen. We've seen it year after year. But at the same time, I'm still happy if we're a run heavy offense. Because it worked last year and we have two amazing runners back there. And before I get back to you, at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts proved that he's not a tush push merchant last night, I think. He didn't score, and they ran 2 or 3 tush pushes, but his touchdowns were all rushing plays that he got out of the pocket and scored. He progressed through his reads. He made good plays. He's not a tush push merchant, so you can shut the fuck up about that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even the tush push almost got stopped. Holy shit. It's not this big threat. Not band worthy, as you saw last night. A team almost stopped it. It's not going to get anybody hurt. So that conversation can go away. It didn't look as automatic. And again, it could be the rust coming off, but, you know, it might not be as big as a threat, especially if Jalen Hurts uses his legs better than he did at the end of last season when they started utilizing the tush push more.
I agree. So, but before we wrap things up, since we're recording this on a Friday, I just want to ask like your quick thoughts about tonight's game. Obviously, the Eagles were in this game last year against the Packers and they won. We got the Chargers and Chiefs this year. What are you looking forward to and what are you expecting to see in tonight's game?
I'm looking forward to a good game. It's a inter-division matchup. It could be a great game. It should be a great game. Justin Herbert has a lot to prove tonight. You're playing against a team that almost had a three-peat. So it should be a good game in general. It's going on YouTube, which is weird to see. It's not like on a Fox or a primetime usual channel. So it's going to be weird to see how what happens with the broadcasting and all that, but should be a good game.
Yeah. Who do you ultimately have winning?
I think Kansas City wins. It should. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think Kansas City is the clear winner. They're still that dominant force for at least another season before we have to start wondering what's the next step for this team.
Yeah. And at the same time, like I still think they're a good team, yes. But at the same time, I don't think they're not making the Chiefs go all the way to Brazil for week 1 to lose. They put these teams there for a reason because they want to get them to market. They also, if they win, that's even more marketability they get because like these Brazil fans, I remember from at least last year, they were wearing all different jerseys. Like and the Chiefs are their biggest market right now, wise. Like Patrick Mahomes is like the most popular player all over the world right now, and to get him to win and get him over there is just going to get their viewership and their the money up for them. So, but yeah. So, is there any final thoughts you want to give about the Eagles game as a whole, or anything that like either frustrated you or you're excited for, like you were excited to see?
I'm excited to see the future of this team. I feel like they have a good young core. Jahad Campbell showed out last night. He had a good game. So I think if they stick to their young core, they stick with their identity that they ran with last season. Next week they could still shake off a little bit more of that rust, but come the later weeks, I think we could see a lot of exciting football.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I agree. I think week one, this is just a start. Only up from here. This team's still intact. This running game is still going to be great as long as you have your offensive line. And if Kevin Patullo can evolve as an offensive coordinator and get more creative, then it's only gonna get better. So, but yeah. So, you got any final thoughts or?
No, that's it.
Okay. So, like we said in the last one, we expect our next video to be sometime next week, and then since we weren't, because we were going to do a live stream last night, but obviously with the game being delayed and everything, we hope to do one next week right after the Chiefs game. We hope to like every game that it's not super late. If it's like a 1 o'clock, 4:25, we'll do a live stream right after. But like we said in the past episode, hopefully you guys tune into that one, enjoyed our hot takes and stuff like that, especially mine. Uh, like I said, we'll be back Monday. Hopefully, or let's just talk about real quick for the final few minutes. How you feel about the Phils after a big series win against the Brewers yesterday?
It proved a lot. It proved that you guys do have that championship culture to go up against these bigger teams. But no. Now that series is gone. You got should be an easy 2 out of 3 games at least, if not a sweep against the Miami Marlins this weekend. But you never know. You could go back to that team that decides not to hit, not to pitch well. But it's like I said in our first Phillies pod that we did, it's go time. You got this series, you got the Dodgers, and you got the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Two out of those 3 teams could affect your spots in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the Dodgers are coming off a sweep. Like they got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, so like they're really spiraling right now. But I agree. This series sets you up for the biggest 2 series you have the rest of the season. You have the Dodgers, then you have the New York Mets. If you take at least 3 out of 4 or sweep them, the division is yours. You control your own destiny at this point because at the way it seems right now is the Mets suck when they don't play the Phillies. It's that simple. Like they'll sweep us, but they can't take. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Miami Marlins. Like, what does that show you? Like, but yeah, I agree. I hope it's at least 2 out of 3. I hope for 2 out of 3. I want a sweep. If this team is good enough, they will sweep. But it remains to be seen. But that's gonna wrap up this Eagles post game report and everything like that. But like I said, we should be back either Monday or Tuesday talking about the weekend and what the road looks like ahead for the Phillies. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all the games and stuff like that. And see you guys later.